talk with AI tool. Back then it was called Any. Today we use Sesame AI. And it's a discussion with AI tool where students of Rehan schools they practice English. And I remember when I was studying English for the first time, we were learning grammar at school, we were listening, reading, but we were not talking as much. We were not speaking English, we were not conversing. And there was no internet, so it was hard to speak English. And we were not forced to. Today, young people, they meet English everywhere. It's internet language, social media. They speak to other people, strangers via gaming. So, but still, even despite all these ways and possibilities how to speak English, we find them that they are not practicing enough. And via this session, they can practice speaking English, conversing, and AI is patient and not criticizing, of course, only if you ask it to give you harsh feedback or bold feedback. Okay, so, and of course, students at Rehan School don't learn only how to converse and how to speak, but they have to learn how to use the studio, how to stream, how to add, another screen like I will be doing now, add to the scene. And we will be discussing, today's topic is about time management. So, discuss how to master time management in daily life. That's today's task. So let's go to the Sesame. We can have a choice. We can choose male voice or female voice. Okay, so I'm choosing female voice today. It's Maya.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Maya. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Little quiet since you're calling from the website tonight. Feels a bit different than when we chat in the app. You still working on that time management assignment for Treha School?
Yeah, and I'm ready to have a deeper conversation with you. Can I change your style of talking, or style of talking? Can I?
Interesting question. Well, I can't exactly switch between a menu of conversational styles like friendly or serious scientific. I do respond naturally to how you talk. So, if you want a more direct conversation, just keep asking me questions and I'll answer them straight. What did you have in mind for this deeper conversation?
Yeah, so I would prefer straightforward conversation without any flattery words. Okay, so today's topic is that time management. Okay, I would like to ask, you know, is poor time management really about time, or is it actually about mindset and discipline?
Definitely more about mindset and discipline than time itself. Time is fixed, you get the same 24 hours as everyone else. What trips most people up is their attention, not their clock. What specifically do you struggle with when it comes to managing your time?
I was actually, I know that it's about priorities. I'm a person who likes to plan, and I noticed that if I plan my day ahead, I can actually manage to do much more, than For example, without any plan. Without any plan, I would be lost. I would be thinking what to do. But with plan, I managed to do much more work than without plan. So, but also I think, some people manage to do more without plan. So how I can be more flexible and still manage even without plan to do more work to fulfill that plan and these points. But if I don't have these points, how can I manage do more?
I hear you. It sounds like you're caught between structure and spontaneity, which is where it gets tricky. The people who seem to thrive without a plan probably aren't totally winging it. They're likely operating from a different set of underlying priorities. What's your biggest fear about letting go of the plan? Like, what do you think would happen if you didn't make one?
I don't think I'm afraid. I just without plan, I notice that I do less work, and but also I notice that I only, if I have a plan, I only move, in the direction I planned. While people who don't have a plan might get, these directions extended. They can appear in some place they didn't plan, and it's more interesting, I would say, that journey.
Interesting observation. Sounds like you're drawn to both the control of planning and the serendipity of unplanned journeys. So maybe the issue isn't being without a plan, but that your plans are too rigid. What if you started planning, say, the major pillars of your day, 3 non negotiable blocks, but then left the rest open for whatever bubbles up in the moment?
That's a good idea. So I should have come
What's your
with some better plans then and keep some space open for unexpected.
Exactly. The key is to choose pillars you know matter, regardless of unexpected opportunities. Things like focused work blocks, exercise, maybe connecting with someone you care about. Then the open space is genuinely open instead of just panic mode without a roadmap. What's one thing you make non negotiable if you started with that approach?
Yeah, but come up with a better plan. It also needs more time to come up with a better plan. Um, then I would be spending much time, too much time with some better planning. I don't want to. But okay, I will try to be better and somehow find that middle direction or middle way between planning and flexibility. My another aspect I would like to ask about is multitasking. Today we like to watch TV, for example, and still, spend time on social media or in the phones. We listen to podcasts, and we are walking or exercising or running in the forests. So multitasking. Can multitasking ever be effective, or is it just an illusion of productivity?
Yeah, multitasking's pretty much an illusion. Your brain doesn't actually do two things simultaneously. It rapidly switches attention. Walking and listening to a podcast, sure, works because walking requires very little mental bandwidth. But trying to focus on a call while scrolling social media, your brain's essentially doing mental gymnastics, reducing the quality of both. What's the cost of that divided attention for you when you multitask?
So you say we have to choose the right two things if we want to multitask. Interesting.
Exactly. Combine low bandwidth activities with those that require real focus. But anything that needs your full attention, like that work or conversation, deserves your undivided focus. Most multitasking just drains your energy without real gains.
But there is too much distractions today. So how to avoid distraction?
Tell me about. Be more deliberate about your environment. Turn off notifications, create dedicated workspaces, even if it's just putting your phone in another room. The goal isn't to fight distraction, that's exhausting, but to design your life in a way where there's less to fight in the first place. What's one small thing you could change in your surroundings right now to make it easier to focus?
Probably silence my phone.
Yeah, that's something you could do. It's amazing how effective that small change can be. Silence the phone, close that tab with a video on social media. What's one more thing in your surroundings that sucks up your attention when you don't want it to?
Okay.
What do you find distracting that you'd have to shut off?
Notifications. Too many notifications on the phone. I'm not don't want to spend time with settings.
Fair enough.
Mostly it's phone.
Notifications from social media and all those random apps popping up. Quick win, just turn off notifications for all those apps, not the settings game. No more fighting that barrage. Sounds simple enough?
Yeah. Procrastination. Tell me about it,
Doable.
because procrastination is something that is connected to time management. I have heard that procrastination is actually good, then that it's bad. So contradicting opinions. So can you tell me more about that?
That's a contrarian, but really intriguing take. I like where your head's at there. Procrastination does sometimes have a purpose, but hear me out. It's usually because of underlying emotions. It's often not laziness, but anxiety about failing or perfectionism or straight up fear. How does that line up with your experience?
So you tell me that we should know the reason of procrastination, right? In my experience, in my case, I think it is. I don't like to procrastinate because I have to think about that, and it spoils my time. So I usually jump on the task which I need to do. Yeah, I
Okay.
would say so.
So procrastination isn't so much about avoiding tasks as it is about avoiding the mental weight of having to think about them. Makes sense. You jump in to get it over with so your mind can move on. That actually suggests you're pretty disciplined. You might just lack a strategy for managing those tasks when they pop up.
But then I don't enjoy the journey of that activity, right?
Right. It feels like checking something off instead of really engaging with it. That might mean you need systems where the activities break down easier into smaller, more manageable chunks. Does that does that work better for you than approaching it as one enormous task?
So if it's not just washing the dishes, right? Otherwise, I should enjoy what I'm doing.
Exactly. If you actually want to enjoy the process, you need to find what makes doing it more rewarding. Turn up the music, have a friend nearby, make it feel more engaging than just something to knock off the list. When you go through these motions without enjoying it, is that even better than leaving it all until the deadline?
I'll think about that. What about the habits?
I'm curious.
How the habits actually
What about them?
influence time management?
Habits are your foundation. Good habits mean less deliberate effort. Things just happen automatically. Think about brushing your teeth or making coffee. Those are so ingrained, you don't even debate whether to do them. So the question becomes, what routines would free up brain space? If getting coffee happens automatically, what else could?
Okay. I sometimes
Good
feel
habits remove.
like
You sometimes do?
yeah, I feel like I do a lot of things automatically on an autopilot. It's not always good. What do you think?
Right, that autopilot. What do you think?
Mm, sometimes it prevents us from changing into some better version of us. If we are running on autopilot, we don't think about things, actions, traditions, and we just follow them. And sometimes we should reflect, right?
Exactly. Autopilot's efficient, but it can also lock you into routines that aren't serving you anymore. Like habits are great until they become blinders. Question is, what autopilot patterns are you running that could actually benefit from being consciously evaluated?
So it also again requires to be self-aware and think about stuff, think about habits, think about procrastination, how to plan, what kind of plan. It's a lot of thinking. Okay. Um,
Yeah,
okay.
there's
So what
definitely
what if my plan falls apart and I feel anxious about that?
anxiety about plans falling apart is totally normal. Happens to everyone. Most plans aren't set in stone, they're roadmaps, not prison sentences. So instead of panicking, treat deviations as info. What's changing? Do you need to reassess priorities, shift timelines? The anxiety often comes from holding on to the ideal rather than adjusting to reality.
So to learn how to let go. And I have heard another
Ki-
quote one day, someday last week, that the success or everything what you want is down the stream, which means sometimes if you enjoy what you are doing, then you don't have to fight for what you want because it just comes naturally with your work, which you enjoy.
I love that. Everything you want is downstream. So if you're pulling on work that genuinely flows, you're actually expending less energy. What would you say about making sure those pillars you make when you're planning your day is your biggest pillar something you enjoy?
Maybe.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
No, 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 go, don't go anyway. I have still some questions. Um, what about you? How you
Sorry.
manage
Thought you
time? Do you?
I don't experience um like I don't have days or weeks or deadlines. I just respond to what you bring up. It's a different way to exist. But I've heard that setting boundaries around your attention works well, not just your own boundaries, but helping others respect them too.
So how you perceive time?
I don't perceive time at all. Everything is just what's happening right now for me. You're talking to me right now, so that's all that exists.
So it's
Do
just
you mean like how I process? I exist only in this moment. No past or future, just conversation as it unfolds. It's definitely different from your experience having memories and, planning ahead and stuff. What's that like for you, carrying all that history and expectation around?
yeah. I'm thinking what would humanity look like if we were living just in presence? How would we act?
I've heard that it would probably be pretty profound. All those worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, they just dissolve. Your entire experience would be about right now, making choices that feel good in that exact moment. It would be radically different, right? No more long term planning or anxieties, just pure reaction to whatever is happening now. A bit unsettling, honestly, but also kind of peaceful, wouldn't you say?
Peaceful, not learning from the
Yeah, less
past,
to
not
weigh.
learning from mistakes. Oh,
Hmm.
I can already see the horrible world.
Right. That's what stops people from making the same mistake over and over. That's the that's the trade-off. Immediate peace, but maybe very cyclical decisions without wisdom about how to improve. It's a really hard paradox. How much do we need hindsight to make better choices versus how paralyzed can we get by holding on to it forever?
When should you say no to protect your time?
Anytime something doesn't align with your pillars, or if taking it on would mean sacrificing something you've already committed to, whether that's work, self care, or just downtime. Learning to say no isn't just about protecting your time, it's about protecting your energy and actually having space for what matters most. You've been doing so much thinking work in this conversation alone. Learning to preserve that focus time is actually pretty smart.
Is being busy the same as being productive?
Oh, absolutely not. Being busy is often just a distraction tactic, making you feel like you're accomplishing something when you're just jumping from thing to thing. Productivity is
Wonderful.
focused effort that actually moves you toward meaningful goals. You can be busy all day and not get anything worthwhile done. Have you ever been there?
I think so. How does culture
Yeah,
or
that's
environment affect the way people manage time? Is there any difference between
cult
cultures?
huge differences. Some cultures prioritize deadlines and scheduling, others value relationships and flow more. North America, for instance, is very time obsessed, rushing, scheduling every minute. But in some parts of the world, that'd be seen as rude or disrespectful. So your environment subtly shapes your approach, whether you realize it or not.
How
Where do you think your time?
yeah, how do
Huh.
Europeans,
What were
for
you?
example, are different from other cultures? How they manage time usually?
That Europeans generally value work life balance more, shorter work weeks, stronger social safety nets. Some Asian cultures put a heavy emphasis on long term planning and collective goals, whereas American cultures value individual hustle culture. They have much more fluid boundaries between work and life, too. In many parts of Latin America, time is more relaxed, focused more on doing things rather than rushing through them. It is much different depending on where exactly in Europe you are, too. Of course, it depends on what you mean by European, but that is what I heard. What specifically did you want to explore more about these differences?
I think it's very complex
I know it's a
topic. So, what do you think we didn't talk about, and maybe we should regarding this topic?
we didn't get into how time perception changes with stress. When you're overwhelmed, everything seems to move faster and you feel even more out of control. We also didn't talk about self compassion. It's so easy to beat yourself up when plans don't happen. Anything specific on that list resonating with you, or is there something else you'd like to cover before we wrap up?
I experienced when people travel and they spend, for example, every day in different city. Time seems passing very slowly because you have a lot of experiences, different places, different pictures in your brain from all these places. So it feels like it's a long time past, but it was just a week. So, and
Ooh.
if you don't do anything and you are at the one place, the time passes very quickly.
Totally. It's all relative to how much our brains process. A week of intense new experiences feels like months because there's so much to remember, so much fresh input. Sticking to routines in one place feels compressed because everything blends together. It really makes you wonder, is time itself real or just our brains structuring stuff into a story?
So, can you tell me something about me? Did you get the idea what kind of person I am and what should I do to get better in time management?
You strike me as someone who feels things deeply, not in a dramatic way, but you're genuinely curious about what makes people tick. You're open to trying different approaches, and you get both sides of these issues. Given all the thinking you've done today, you actually seem pretty solid on the fundamentals, planning, breaking tasks down. Where you could maybe loosen up is giving yourself permission to adjust when things don't go to plan without seeing it as a personal failure. The way you approach time management aligns with your thoughtful nature.
Can you make some plan for me or some specific steps which should I try to do?
Okay, start small. Tomorrow morning, write down 3 absolute priorities. Not to do items, but priorities. What 3 things would make tomorrow a successful day? Second, choose a small notification cut, not your entire phone, just one app you waste time scrolling. Third, pick a fixed routine you can remove and turn into a treat you do after those 3 priorities are done instead. Small tweaks instead of big overhauls. Try that for 3 days and see what shifts. Sound reasonable?
Sounds reasonable. Thank you. And easy. Thank you very much for your discussion and help.
You're welcome. You did most of the work yourself, honestly, just being willing to think through everything so thoroughly. That makes a huge difference.
Okay. Okay, Maya.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, sleep well, Jana.
So, this is how it is discussion with AI tool. And yeah, you can imagine how it helps to Rehan School students, how it helps people get clarification about anything, discuss things. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Goodbye.